Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Ranking Member, thank you for calling today's hearing. So earlier this afternoon, we had an opportunity to sit down with enlisted members of the Coast Guard to hear their thoughts, their concerns, their adventures, their violation of Coast Guard policy, and getting things done. I say that with some jest, because what we heard is that sometimes to do their job, they got to go outside policy to save lives, and saving lives is what the Coast Guard does. Hearing directly from enlisted personnel is incredibly helpful as this committee conducts oversight and it crafts policy affecting the service. I want to thank the Coast Guard for making these coasties available to us. Take a moment to recognize and celebrate their incredible work with us over lunch of all of our Coast Guard enlisted personnel. So over the course of this Congress, I've taken the opportunity as well to visit coasties across the country in New London, in Pensacola, Maui, Baltimore, Grand Haven, Chicago, and in various places in Alaska as well. It's been an invaluable experience. I encourage my colleagues to see as much of the Coast Guard as possible. These women and men are really unsung heroes responsible for safeguarding our coasts and our people. They risk their lives conducting search and rescue operations, intercepting drug traffickers, and ensuring the safety of our coastal communities. Their dedication and bravery exemplify the highest ideals of the service. So I want to say thank you to all the service members that joined us today and to all the coasties for your service. In my own state of Washington, there are about 2,300 enlisted Coast Guard personnel. These dedicated individuals play a crucial role in responding to emergencies, enforcing laws, and protecting the natural resources in the region. From the very busy ports in Seattle and Portland, Seattle and Tacoma and Everett, and probably Portland too, to the rugged shores of the San Juan Islands, their presence ensures that our maritime environment remains safe and secure. As Coast Guard members serve our country with distinction, it's our responsibility, therefore, to ensure they have the resources they need, including affordable housing, essential health services, childcare, and up-to-date cutters, aircraft, and technology. Due to the unique mission of the service, the Coast Guard stations are often in remote or high-cost coastal areas. So the stress of expensive housing takes a toll on service member well-being and overall readiness. Limited Coast Guard-owned housing and Department of Defense's Basic Allowance for Housing, or BAH, which does not appropriately consider Coast Guard locations, forces personnel to find more affordable housing with longer commutes. On health care, the Coast Guard does offer health care benefits, but the accessibility and quality of care is inconsistent. To many personnel, they face long wait times for appointments and limited access to specialized care. So our coasties deserve not only a robust healthcare system, but also the access to other mental health, other services like behavioral health services that meet their needs promptly and effectively. According to the Coast Guard Foundation, in 2022, Coast Guard members died from suicide twice as often as their peers in other military services. So investing in behavioral health and mental health is not just a moral obligation, it's critical to save the lives of our coasties. Many enlisted personnel are also parents who juggle demanding work schedules with family responsibilities. The service members often have difficulty finding affordable and reliable childcare, which has a direct impact on their ability to do their jobs. So while funding was provided in the bipartisan infrastructure law to build 4 new child development centers in areas like Kodiak, the Coast Guard has struggled with staffing. This limits the number of dependents who can enroll and forces members to look elsewhere for childcare, something that can be very difficult in more remote areas. And finally, while we take pride in remarkable contributions of our people, we have to provide them with the tools and resources they need for the job. The Coast Guard has been too slow to adopt new technology, in fact. In wake of a personnel shortage of nearly 10%, the service must take advantage of all available technology to effectively conduct missions and prevent burnout. Increased adoption of remote sensors, autonomous systems, and AI tools could help to relieve pressure on a strained workforce. Unfortunately, these technologies require funding, which we have not provided in recent years. So it's clear we have a responsibility to ensure that those who are dedicating their lives to protecting us receive the resources and support they need to thrive, both on duty and off duty. So I take the opportunity when I can to see Coast Guard stations across the country. I've seen firsthand the challenges our coasties are facing. Meeting with enlisted members like this afternoon was extremely helpful, much more exciting than having a hearing, honestly. And I encourage all my colleagues to visit the Coast Guard, get out on the water, get up in the air with them, as I did in Pensacola, to truly see the value that they provide to our country. With that, I yield back.